The internet is ubiquitous. Our life cannot move an inch ahead without the internet. Interestingly, and funny enough, today's generation born after 2010 can never imagine that most of us born in the early 1900s to mid-1900s never had access to the so-called today's revolutionary, groundbreaking internet. You feel like eating something, you order a pizza through the internet. Or suppose you want to buy a new TV, you check it out online. Something funny just happened. You take your phone and share the moment with your friend through social media. Triggered by an alarming news or catastrophe looming up, you turn on your internet before your TV. Every single thing in our day-to-day life involves the use of the internet. But things weren't the same as they are today before the birth of the internet. Long ago, getting updated with the news meant walking to the newsstand in the morning and buying a local newspaper, or getting newspapers locked underneath the door, delivered by a boy running an errand that gave you the overall update of what happened a day before. And now, only a few decades have passed since the internet era, mankind can communicate with the outer world in a matter of seconds. It has changed the entire anatomy of our way of communicating with the world. But as you know, no things come without its good and bad. Since ancient times, almost every invention has come with both pros and cons. So does the internet. But it actually depends on how people use it. But gone are those talks. Today, we are not just going to talk about the positive or negative effects of the internet. We're going to talk about how it was born. Unlike technologies like the phonograph or the safety pin, the internet doesn't have a single inventor. Instead, it has developed and evolved dramatically over time. So, who were the minds behind the internet? Who had this vision to change the world? How did the world's most important invention come to be? Well, let's find out. It's hard to believe, but the internet wasn't around just a few decades ago. And the main reason we have the internet today is a war. During the Cold War, the United States and the Soviet Union were intense rivals. This era marked the beginning of the development of the internet. This was a time when both countries were racing to outcompete each other in technology, especially in nuclear weapons and space exploration. In 1957, the Soviet Union shocked the world by launching Sputnik 1, the very first satellite to orbit the Earth. This was a huge achievement for mankind, but that upsetted the United States in particular. They began to fret that the Soviets were surreptitiously pulling ahead in technology and could dominate from space. Better than late, the US government realized that they needed to catch up quickly. So they manifested their own technological and scientific advancements. In 1958, the US Department of Defense established the Advanced Research Projects Agency, ARPA. Later, it became known as DARPA. This agency was tasked with advancing technology and scientific research to ensure that the United States would never again be caught off guard by technological advancements from adversaries. ARPA assembled a team of around 200 top scientists and engineers. They all were dedicated to create a new type of communication network capable of linking multiple computers across various locations. The primary goal was to develop a system that could withstand potential Soviet attacks and ensure continuous communication in the event of a crisis. One of the important things in the development of this network happened in 1961, when Leonard Kleinrock published his groundbreaking theory on packet switching. He was a researcher at MIT. This theory proposed that information sent over a network should be divided into small, manageable packets. These packets could be transmitted more efficiently and then reassembled at their destination. In this process, all messages were cut into pieces of the same size, which were named as packets. These packets can travel separately through the network, so they can make the best use of every available space. For instance, packets from small messages can fit into the gaps between packets from larger messages. Once the packets reach their destination, they are reassembled into the original message. To handle the chopping and reassembling, a special device connects computers to the network. This device is the very first piece of internet equipment ever. This device is known as the Interface Message Processor. The IMP was a military-hardened machine designed for the Department of Defense. While it might look old and unattractive, it's actually where the internet began. The IMP was the first packet router and a key part of ARPANET, the precursor to today's internet. It monitored network status, gathered statistics, and acted as the heart of the ARPANET from its launch until it was decommissioned in 1989. The IMP also represents the first generation of gateways, now known as routers. Kleinrock's theory was the foundation for modern data transmission. They've made it possible to send data quickly and reliably, even over long distances. His work was crucial in shaping how we communicate digitally and making sure networks are strong and efficient. In 1962, Paul Baran, another visionary in the field of computer science, presented a communication system designed to be resilient against external attacks. His idea involved a decentralized network of computers. It ensured that if one part of the network was damaged, the remaining parts could continue to function. This concept of a robust, fault-tolerant network was so important during the Cold War, when the threat of attacks on communication infrastructure was very real. Baran's work demonstrated that a network could be both flexible and durable. It was also capable of withstanding significant damage without collapsing entirely. By 1965, the concept of a connected network began to take shape. Two computers, one located in Massachusetts and the other in California, were linked via a telephone line. Although this connection was not highly efficient, it was a significant step forward in demonstrating the feasibility of long-distance digital communication. The major breakthrough came in 1969, when Michael Ealy managed to connect a computer at the University of California, Los Angeles, with another at the Stanford Research Institute. This initial connection soon expanded to include 4 more universities. J.C.R. Licklider, an MIT and ARPA scientist, conceived the idea of a networked computer communication system. They proposed the concept that computers should be able to communicate with one another. This idea led to the creation of ARPANET, the first attempt to send a simple node-to-node message from one computer to another encountered some initial challenges. When attempting to send a short message from UCLA to Stanford University, only the first 2 letters were successfully received by the computer at Stanford. They wanted to send a whole word, login, but they were able to send only 2 letters, low. Despite this setback, passionate scientists continued their efforts to send messages. Finally, in 1971, an engineer named Ray Tomlinson successfully sent the first complete email message. Initially, it was a meaningless test message. It was like QWERTYUIOP. Though Tomlinson didn't think of something before sending it. But later, it became a historic text message for the world. You can say it was the first spark of the email and digital communication as we know it today. As networks like ARPANET grew, there was a challenge. How to bring them all together into a single global internet. This big job fell to Vinton Cerf. He was a great computer scientist of America and considered as one of the fathers of the internet. He developed rules that made it easier for ordinary people to use the internet. But it got harder to connect them all into one big worldwide internet. But Cerf was determined. He was determined because the reason behind this effort was something personal. After his graduation, he fell in love with a deaf woman. She was struggling to communicate with other people, and to solve this problem for his beloved wife, Cerf created a network where every computer could link up globally. He made the internet a product that everyone can use for their preference. In the shortening fall days of 1977, a plain, silver step van filled with futuristic equipment, shaggy-haired engineers, and sometimes fully uniformed generals quietly cruised the streets of the San Francisco Peninsula. The only hint of its purpose was an oddly shaped antenna. The van was getting ready to demonstrate the first full transmission with what would become the internet standard we use today for nearly everything, from dating to rides to medical information. While some people trace the internet's origins to the ARPANET network of the late 1960s, the word internet actually means joining different kinds of individual networks together. The The first experiments with such networks of networks came around 1973. This included the European Informatics Network and the trials at Xerox PARC that led to the PUP standard. By August 1976, the teams were ready to try connecting across two networks as a first step. As they sat in the beer garden of the biker hangout Rossotti's, the Packet Radio Group successfully sent their weekly progress report through the van over their radio network and then through the ARPANET. It was a promising start. However, connecting two networks had been done before using quick fixes. Translating data smoothly across 3 or more networks would clearly show that TCP was a reliable standard for connecting multiple networks together. On a rainy Wednesday, November 22nd, 1977, everything was set for a major test. Data flowed smoothly from the van to SRI in Menlo Park and the University of Southern California in Los Angeles. It traveled through England, Boston, and Sweden across 3 types of networks: packet radio, the satellite network, and the ARPANET. This all happened while the van cruised the Bay Area roads. This event marked the birth of the internet. The packet radio van might have seemed lonely as it drove through the Bay Area streets in 1977, but it was part of a well-planned international effort involving more than 35 people and 8 institutions. The figure below illustrates the route taken by the test packets. Several key contributors and institutions are not shown on the map. ARPA, which funded and initiated the project, Collins Radio, which manufactured the packet radios, and Linkabit, which developed the satellite network, are among them. Other important contributors are also listed below. The ARPANET continued to evolve, and in 1983, the US Department of Defense made a big choice. They incorporated the TCP/IP protocol into their network and renamed it as the ARPANET Internet. Over time, Bob Kahn and Vinton Cerf wrote the first paper that outlined how different computer networks could communicate using a protocol. They called this process Internet working, but it was a bit awkward. Bob Kahn later suggested naming the process Interneting, which eventually became Internet to describe the worldwide network they were creating. That naming and standardization was essential for the Internet's expansion and integration into a global system. In 1989, Tim Berners-Lee, a scientist at the European Centre for Nuclear Research, introduced 3 key technologies: hypertext markup language, hypertext transfer protocol, and a program called the web browser. With these 3 separate innovations, Lee formed the basis of the World Wide Web. He believed that the internet should not only be used for sending or receiving text messages, but should be something more than that. Initially, the World Wide Web was confined to CERN, but in 1991, it was made available to the public. This rise of the WWW was the true beginning of the modern internet. It opened up new possibilities for communication, education, and commerce. In that same year, Tim Berners-Lee's World Wide Web protocols led to the creation of the first web page. This breakthrough made it easy for anyone to create and view web pages, which made the internet more accessible to everyone. Around this time, the first search engine was launched. It was named Gopher. The search engine helped people to find information on the internet. Additionally, the first webcam was developed at that time. The users started sending live videos over the internet. One of the most important changes was the standardization of the MP3 format, which completely changed the music industry by enabling high-quality sound to be transmitted online. Then, in 1993, we got the first graphical web browser, Mosaic. It made the internet more accessible to the general public. Before Mosaic, using the internet was complicated because users needed to know text commands. Mosaic changed this by introducing a graphical interface that made browsing the web easier and more user-friendly. This innovation helped more people to start using the internet. It also set the stage for other web browsers like Netscape Navigator, which came out in 1994 and became very popular. In 1996, the first webmail service was launched, the Hotmail. It allowed users to check their email online. This was a big change from older email systems that needed special software and hardware. The capital letters in Hotmail were a tribute to the HTML standard. It shows the importance of web technologies in its development. Then, the late 1990s saw the rise of Google. It was founded in 1998 by Larry Page and Sergey Brin. Google just changed the way people navigated the internet. More and more people were adopting the use of the internet through Google, and thus it quickly became the dominant search engine. Its powerful algorithms and user-friendly interface made finding information online easier and more efficient than ever before. Google became exceptionally important because of its user-friendly interface and its ability to provide vast amounts of information quickly and efficiently. It attracted a large number of users and also accelerated the widespread adoption of the internet. Today, around 5.5 billion people use the internet, which is nearly 70% of the world's population. The widespread use of this technology began when the Soviet Union launched Sputnik. This event prompted the US to establish ARPA and NASA. To support a strong communication network, ARPANET was created. Over time, ARPANET evolved into this global internet without which we can't think of a day. Internet changed lives. If we talk about what the internet has done so far, we need to ask what the internet hasn't done. There was a world without the internet where connecting with someone halfway across the globe meant waiting weeks for a letter. The internet changed all that. Communication has perhaps seen the most significant transformation after the widespread adoption of the internet. Platforms like email, social media, and messaging apps make it effortless to stay in touch with friends and family, no matter where they are. Video calls let loved ones see each other instantly, no matter the distance. Social networks like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram have become lively online communities where people share ideas and experiences. This quick connectivity has changed relationships, making it easier to stay connected and build global friendships. Work and education have significantly benefited from the internet because today's offices have all embraced digital technology. Paperworks and files of hard copies are all lost in time. Students can do online courses alongside on-site courses, and all can be executed with the help of the internet. In fact, people barely like to read books these days, as most, if not all, information is easily disseminated across online. Remote setting also furlough jobs are pretty common these days, all with the blessing of the internet. It allowed people to pursue careers and degrees from anywhere in the world. Especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, remote work and virtual classrooms became essential when the movement was reprieved. The internet played a second-to-none role in maintaining the continuity in education and business operations despite global disruptions. Then comes the entertainment segment that plays the major part in keeping people amused. People have long forgotten watching TV, as streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, and Spotify provide a constant stream of movies, TV shows, and music, as per our demand, anytime, anywhere. Online gaming has transformed into a global phenomenon. They've connected players across continents and created vibrant communities around shared interests. From casual gamers to esports professionals, the internet has turned gaming into a social and competitive activity that transcends geographical boundaries. If we talk about the impact of the internet socially, it has amplified voices and sparked movements. Social media platforms serve as megaphones for activism. They raise awareness and mobilize communities around important causes, such as environmental conservation, social justice, and human rights. It's a tool for change that empowers individuals to speak out, connect with like-minded individuals, and make a difference on a global scale. Access to information has undergone a great revolution through the internet. The internet is like a huge library that we can access anytime. It's awesome for finding news, research, educational stuff, and tutorials instantly. It makes learning new skills and exploring different viewpoints easy for anyone with an internet connection. You can keep up with global events in real time, look up things for school, or check out the latest scientific discoveries. It's like having a library and university right at your fingertips. Shopping has also shifted from crowded stores to the comfort of our homes. E-commerce giants like Amazon, eBay, and Alibaba deliver everything from groceries to gadgets, with reviews, ratings, and personalization. The convenience is unmatched. Now you don't have to wait in long lines or rush through crowded aisles. Online shopping has changed how we buy things and revolutionized retail. Now, businesses of all sizes can reach a global audience and operate 24/7 without needing physical stores. How can we forget financial services? The internet has changed them a lot. Transactions have become smoother and safer. No more standing in long lines at the bank to manage our finances. Now, we can easily open accounts, make deposits and withdrawals, and access various banking options, such as cryptocurrency and e-wallets, and all through a computer or even a cell phone app. Since the journey of mankind's inventions began, they've come up with both good and bad outcomes. So the internet has some downsides as well. You could say it contains almost as many drawbacks as benefits. This is because the internet is now available to everyone. Anyone can access it from anywhere at any time, and it also offers great privacy if properly maintained. In certain areas, the negative impacts of the internet have become significantly apparent, especially with the excessive use of social media. When individuals spend a lot of time online, particularly on social media platforms, it can lead to social isolation and reduced face-to-face interactions. Spending too much time online, especially on social media, often causes people to pull away from real-world social connections. This can lead to feelings of loneliness and detachment. When virtual interactions become more important than face-to-face ones, real-life relationships can weaken. This digital isolation highlights the need to prioritize real-life relationships and keep a healthy balance between online and offline interactions. By nurturing strong, in-person connections, people can enjoy a more fulfilling and balanced social life. In today's world, the internet is the biggest go-to source for information. However, with this abundance of information, it's also become very easy to propagate misinformation and fake news quickly. The huge amount of unverified content typically overwhelms people and makes it hard to tell what's true from what's false. This spread of false information causes confusion, mistrust, and even social unrest as people act on incorrect beliefs. This situation highlights the importance of media literacy and critical thinking skills to navigate the digital world responsibly. The endless flow of online content can harm our ability to focus. When we skim through short bits of information instead of delving deeply into topics, it weakens our concentration over time. This habit affects our productivity, learning, and our capacity to grasp complex subjects thoroughly. In today's world, where quick satisfaction is easily accessible, deep focus and sustained attention are also important matters we shouldn't overlook. Well, the internet also affects our health in significant ways. Social media and other online activities can be highly addictive. It often leads to prolonged usage that interferes with sleep. Many people find themselves scrolling through their social media feeds or watching videos late into the night. It obviously disrupts their sleep patterns. The blue light emitted from screens can affect our sleep cycles by inhibiting the production of melatonin, a hormone that regulates sleep. This can lead to poor sleep quality, reduced productivity, and long-term health issues. Understanding the importance of good sleep habits and limiting screen time is important for staying healthy and feeling well. Apart from impacting sleep, excessive internet use can significantly impact mental health, like having the feelings of inadequacy, anxiety, and depression over time. When we get constant exposure to idealized portrayals of others' lives, our mind creates an unrealistic standard and promotes negative self-comparison. This can undermine self-esteem and foster a sense of failure and dissatisfaction with one's own life. The mental health effects of using social media says that we have to be aware and find ways to handle its impact on how we see ourselves and our emotional well-being. Cyberbullying isn't just the internet's fault. It's aggressive behaviour done through electronic channels that can really hurt victims emotionally and psychologically. It particularly smites young people, brings feelings of loneliness, sadness, and fear due to ongoing online harassment. Such experiences can severely diminish self-esteem and cause victims to avoid social activities, including attending school. In the worst cases, cyberbullying has tragically led to outcomes such as suicide. Effective responses to cyberbullying involve proactive measures like education, supportive networks, and the implementation of stringent policies to safeguard vulnerable individuals. Internet addiction is becoming increasingly concerning. It causes significant behavioral changes and adverse outcomes. People addicted to the internet often spend excessive hours online. They neglect real-life responsibilities and relationships. This addiction can lead to sleep deprivation, dishonesty, mood swings, and social isolation. All of them greatly impact their overall well-being. Also, the extended use of computers and digital devices have negative effects on physical health. People face many common issues like headaches, eye strain, obesity, and problems with the nervous system. Constant screen use causes dry eyes and strain due to reduced blinking and blue light exposure. Meanwhile, the poor posture and a sedentary lifestyle linked to excessive screen time can contribute to chronic health conditions. It's crucial to take regular breaks, engage in physical activity, and maintain ergonomic practices to reduce these health risks. While electronic transactions offer great convenience, they also come with the risk of online scams. Among them, one common scam is phishing, where people are hoodwinked and touted into giving away personal and financial information. Scammers use fake websites or emails to deceive unsuspecting individuals. This phishing basically leads to financial losses and identity theft. To avoid these scams, it's important to be careful online, use secure and verified sites, and always check the authenticity of any requests for your information. Another drawback caused by the internet is the phenomenon of FOMO, or fear of missing out, which has become more prevalent with the rise of social media. Many people experience anxiety when they do not regularly check their social media accounts, fearing they might miss exciting news or events. This constant need to stay connected can lead to stress and a sense of inadequacy. Ironically, the more time people spend online trying to stay informed, the more they may miss out on real-life experiences. The internet has completely transformed financial services. They've made the transactions easier, safe, and more convenient. However, relying too much on online banking can expose you to risks like phishing and identity theft. To keep your personal information and money safe, it's important to follow some good practices. For instance, always use strong passwords and avoid doing financial transactions over public Wi-Fi. Being careful and following these simple steps can protect your money and keep your online banking safe. The internet wasn't invented by a single person, and now one knows how to predict its future because technology evolves so quickly. However, it's pretty sure that the latest version of the web will have a significant impact on nearly every aspect of our daily life, from economy to society. Since the 1990s, the internet's growth has been astounding. According to Statista, over 5 billion people, roughly 2/3 of the world's population, are currently connected to the internet. In countries like New Zealand, around 94% of the population uses the internet daily. As the internet continues to grow, it will further reshape our lives and societies in profound ways. In the near future, the internet will totally change the way we communicate. It will bring something beyond traditional text-based methods. Instead of typing messages or emails, verbal and auditory communication will dominate. Similar to the technologies we see today with Apple's Siri and Amazon's Alexa, we will increasingly interact with devices and each other through spoken commands and responses. Also, the advancements in brain-computer interfaces promise remarkable changes. We are probably going to get a world where communications will happen directly through thoughts. instantly transmitting information from one person's mind to another's without needing to speak or write. This futuristic technology has the potential to revolutionize how we interact and exchange information, giving a faster, more intuitive, and more private system than ever before. In the coming years, experts foresee a significant evolution in mixed realities, where the internet will blend uniformly with our physical surroundings. Technologies like augmented reality glasses and other devices will project digital information directly into our field of vision, integrating it with the real world. This fusion of augmented, virtual, and physical reality will open up exciting new possibilities for how we interact, entertain ourselves, and learn. In future, 5G technology will offer much more than just an upgrade from 4G. It will bring faster internet speeds, shorter load times, and significantly greater capacity. With 5G, large files will download in seconds, and activities such as autonomous driving, remote surgery, industrial automation, and managing smart homes will become much faster and more efficient. This next generation of wireless technology will revolutionize how we communicate, work, learn, and entertain ourselves. Looking ahead, the metaverse will continue to evolve as the next stage of the internet. Users will create their own digital realities, where they can build virtual worlds, personalize avatars, and interact socially. Similar to current platforms like Minecraft and Roblox, social media sites such as Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok will expand into immersive spaces where users can share more and more content to engage with communities. So the internet we see today wasn't like this from its inception. Over time, it has evolved and advanced significantly. However, the advent of the internet has globally reshaped lives. It has completely changed how we communicate, access information, and connect across the world. Looking ahead, the internet's ongoing evolution promises even more profound changes. As we've mentioned before, predicting what the internet will be like in the future is largely guesswork, and we can only wait for the internet of the future.